Go. Back up, honey.
Boom.
And we're live.
We're live.
Hey, man, you have some pizza for us?
Yeah, no shit.
I'd love to share, but it's about gone.
Oh, gosh.
Well, hell yeah, man. Glad that you were able to get your calories in real quick before we
Trying.
do some turkey talking. Turkey and whitetail tonight.
All right, Jason, you finished your bite of pizza. We're going to start the show.
We're good.
Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage Podcast with your host, Brett Bovin. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show.
Well, first off, I'd like to say I apologize for the bad audio on my end. I mean, it sounded like dog shit. Not gonna lie again.
You'll get there.
I mean, I'm not a technological person, man. I do my best. I'm trying. It's the thought that counts, right, man?
Hey, you heard it from the other guys that we had on last night. They've had, I think, 300 episodes. So they're a little bit more street cred for them, and they said that they have shit go wrong with their setup all the time. So
It seems like nothing goes right, man.
you're not the only one.
Well, hey, Jason, can you focus on the show, man?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a short attention span. Hey,
Yeah, no
how
shit.
are you guys? Welcome back.
Yeah, we're glad to see the hobbits back on the show.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
But
They're probably
you know
taller
what?
than you, though. How tall are you?
You look like a
6
midget.
foot.
How-
I'm taller than you, Brett. I'm 6 foot.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm 5'11".
Then you're the
Oh,
hobbit,
well,
bro.
still taller.
Oh,
The bald ginger hobbit.
Hey,
hey, you can't call me ginger because I'm bald. So it's one or the
What's
other.
that on your chin?
well, it's because we know.
Oh,
We know what.
it's because you know.
It's because we know what grows if you let it.
You guys are fucking dicks, man.
That armpit hair right there, bro. You see that?
Yeah.
Looks
The
a little
carrot-colored
steamy.
armpit hair.
Yeah, you know it. Well, I'm looking forward to tonight's show. We had to make a special day plan for
Detour.
this because I was a dick and I did not pay attention well to the virtual waiting room. And Dan was like, oh, hey, did you realize Paul was in the waiting room for like 20, 30 minutes?
I
No.
think it might be longer than that.
Well, fuck me, man. I'm just an
Yeah.
asshole, man.
Yeah, you are, but that's okay. Paul forgives you. I don't, but Jason, he may. That's up to him to decide. But
I'm on the fence with it. I'm a little forgiving, but at the minute Brett needs some discipline for it, I'm ready to drop the hammer on him. I'm watching you.
yeah,
Do I need a timeout or something?
yeah,
You might eventually.
it's all right though. But yep, we
Dan, pop them in. Can you hear the applause? Yeah.
Kiss me, mama.
Hell yeah.
all right.
Yeah, look at that. What an intro. Brett, you were forgiven. The applause changed the whole game for me right now.
Oh, thank you, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
All good.
Thank
don't
you.
suck.
See,
I
yeah,
don't care what these guys say about you.
Thank you, Paul. I can put them back in the virtual waiting room, and just you and I can talk.
Just go round and round.
Yeah,
Watch
then
them
you'd
in their
scare
little
him off.
shadow box there.
Yeah, pretty
then
much.
You would scare him off then. So how the
Oh,
hell you
man.
been, Paul?
Man, I'm good. This is I just got back from the National Wild Turkey Federation annual sports show and convention in Nashville all last week. I was there Monday to Sunday, man, and it is the kickoff to turkey season for me. It's my favorite time of year, obviously, and man, I couldn't be any better. So
Did you do
Ready.
that show last year as well?
I did, yeah. So this is my third year as an employee with the NWTF. So I've been there it's my third year in a row down to that show. So actually my first full week 3 years ago was at the convention. So Trial by fire, man, because it's wild. I don't know if you guys have ever been to it. It is insane, man.
No, but I just went to my first hunting show, which is probably a much lower scale than what you're talking about. In Kalamazoo, they had a outdoor sports expo. I mean, that was cool. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll probably check something like that out eventually, but I was just curious how, like, your attendance compared this year compared to years in the past. Was there like a good turnout?
Yeah, there is. So we had about 60,000 last year that rolled through the gates. I think we're going to eclipse that. In terms of like people coming into the sports show, registering for the convention. I mean, it felt bigger this year. It felt like there were more people there. There were certainly more vendors there at the show this year. So I'd say at the end of the day, we'll probably close to 65, 70,000 if I had to guess, rolling through those doors in a 4-day span. So it's pretty wild, man.
Does it happen at the same? Does this show happen pretty much the same time in February every year?
Yep, it's on the week of Valentine's Day every year, and I think it's been like that for decades. So I mean, this is the 48th sports show and convention that we've had. So I've been doing it a while. Yeah.
More reason why to love Tennessee. Is it always in Tennessee?
Yeah. It moved around for the first couple decades of its existence. It's been in Nashville. I want to say 2012. So it's been in Nashville every year, and I don't think I don't think it's going to leave anytime soon. It's at the Gaylord Opryland. If you've ever been to that place or heard of it, it's massive. Man. I mean, it's this huge like indoor atrium. There's freaking waterfalls and plants everywhere, and a water park, and there's this massive convention center and ballroom. Like it's one of the few places I think that could hold a convention like that. So
wow,
thousands of hotel rooms. It's impressive, man. It's an impressive building. So
real quick, Jason, what's going on with man? We just see a head. No head.
Oh, there you go.
Now. There we go. See me now?
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately. Sorry, Paul. That was just
you're good, man.
It was bugging me. I just see a headless body.
For me, it was fine. For me, I could see everybody and myself.
Oh no, all I could see was your sound bar, but it's all good now.
Yeah. Fix yourself, Jason. I mean, come on now. We got Paul on the show.
Hi.
Oh, I'm nobody. I'll just make money at Jason.
I mean, this guy is an Ohio State fan. I mean, we got to bring that back up again.
We do. Go Bucks.
No, fuck that. No.
We got Chip Kelly coming in to call the offensive plays, man. They've been
I wanted to
work in the transfer portal.
I wanted to ask you that. How do you feel about, because I've seen.
You can't talk shit about that, right, Brett? Chip Kelly's a former Oregon guy, right?
Yeah, but he left us, so fuck Chip Kelly now.
Oh, okay.
No, but he was at Oregon. He was a great coach. Don't get me wrong. But what are your thoughts on, first off, Chip Kelly coming to Ohio State? But what are your thoughts of head coaches leaving to become coordinators at different schools?
Man, that was pretty wild. I mean, Jeff Hafley left Boston College to go to Green Bay as a defensive coordinator. Chip Kelly was interviewing, and I read that there were a couple other guys. I read somewhere, and I don't know how true this is, but Chip Kelly was getting tired of the recruiting trail, and I get that. That's a lot of work, and he wanted to have some of that lessened.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's been really like crushing it at UCLA. I don't know. I don't follow UCLA football at all.
They had one good year.
That says everything for itself. Is nobody really knows how they're doing because they're not doing shit.
Well, Dan, you didn't fucking cut me off. I was going to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate it. They had one good year. It was like 2 years ago, I think. And then they lost like 2 or 3 games, and then lost their bowl game. But other than that, you're right. They've been kind of the average school, but I didn't hear about him getting kind of tired of the recruiting trail, but that makes sense. I can get that, especially with the transfer portal. And
that was the word on the street around here. That was one of the reasons he was was willing to jump ship from a Power 5 conference to head coach to a coordinator. So
yeah,
and I know we're looking forward to
Big Ten school.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy, man? They're Pac-12, Big Ten.
Yeah.
Mine is just wild, man. Wild.
And then
Ohio State's just one of those schools, man, that appeals to people.
Yeah, it is. There's a few of them in college football that have that draw, and Ohio State is for sure one of them. So
Oregon's number one.
Yeah, go Ducks.
Yeah.
What's the little hand sign you guys do? Sorry, what was it? Oh, yeah. See, I knew it was. Yeah, he got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Paul,
watch the video for that one. What's that?
Don't make me put you in timeout, Paul.
In the box. Good stuff.
Oh man.
So with this turkey season about to start, do you have anything new that you're implementing to your plan of attack this year, or do you think that you have that shit dialed in and you've already had your plan? You've been doing the same thing for a while now.
No, I don't think any turkey hunter on the face of the planet has their plan dialed in. We go in, we have systems, I guess, or practices that we like. Turkey hunting is one of those that I feel like if you over plan, it is guaranteed that the turkey's going to smack you around and make you feel like a dumbass. That's just how they are, man. They're the most, they can be and will be and always are the most frustrating animal on the face of the planet to hunt. And it doesn't matter how good you are, they're going to make you look silly more times than not. So my plan, just get out there, man. That's it. I've done it enough that, I just get out there and I take what the woods give me, man, and react as necessary. So
I'm sorry,
now,
Jason.
Go ahead, cut me off. What do they call it? I've seen videos of it where the dudes are on, they're like crouched down or on all fours and they're flapping the fake fan in front of them, kind of like you would a goose flag if you're having geese landing in a field on you if you're goose hunting. And them toms come in real hot on it, and then they just like pop out from behind it and blast them.
I've not hunted like that. I never will. That's called fanning or reaping. Is one, and it's a very divisive topic within the turkey hunting, I guess, community, and it's something that that really has become contentious and has split a lot of people. I've insulted it before online, and I've gotten death threats. Like it's crazy, man. How passionate people are about turkey hunting, and I love it. Like I love that. It's not my preferred method. A lot of people take like a really hardline stance that it's it should be outlawed. I'm still trying to figure out what my stance is, like big picture, right? For me, it's something that I've never done and I never will do. It's not the way that I like to hunt turkeys. And I would have that conversation with anyone. I don't like to attack people for the things that they do, right? Especially if it's legal. If it's legal in your state,
right,
and it's ethical, that's where the debate is. Is it ethical? And I mean, who am I to decide that? I can just tell you like the way that I like to hunt and why I think that is the best way. I'm using air quotes for if you're listening to this on the podcast. But once again, who am I, man? Like I'm not the president of turkey hunting that can make all the rules. I can just tell you the way that I like to do it. And as long as it's legal in your state, but some people were very, very hard line against that. So
now what about that method of hunting in and of itself makes it such an, outrageous to some, but like, hey, this is the way you got to do it for others. Like what about it? It causes the hot.
That's a good question. So I think when you look at like the turkey purist, the turkey hunting purist, there's a gentleman by the name of Tom Kelly that wrote a book called The 10th Legion back in 1975. And so that book within turkey hunting circles is kind of like the guiding light, right? And it's how to engage with wild turkeys. It's how to always respect the animal, always respect the process of hunting turkeys. I think that for me, a lot of people view using decoys, especially using like fans or reaping, or manipulating the decoys. They see it as almost like manipulating the turkey at an unfair level, right? So like you trigger a response for that turkey just cannot it just cannot not come and see what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
And so for me, and a lot of this is rooted in the words that Tom Kelly wrote. For me, the decoys, even just like regularly, I killed a turkey for the first time off of a Jake decoy and a hen decoy last year. It's the first time I've ever done it in 16 years of turkey hunting. First time I ever used a decoy. And I was excited that I killed the turkey. And then at some point, like I almost felt guilty because it was just like I cheated the process. Right. You know, I killed that turkey with 13 minutes left in legal hunting. If that decoy wouldn't have been out, would that turkey have come into my like shot range? I don't know. Maybe, you know, I'm a pretty good caller and I can you maximize my hunts with that ability, but I didn't that hunt. And so I didn't like that feeling, right? For me, the best way to hunt and the way that I enjoy it the most is when, you know, we're using Onyx, right? We're using shotguns, you know, we're using all of these things to kill these turkeys. So like we need to keep the playing field, this battle that we have is equal as possible, right? Like that turkey knows the land better than we ever will. It's smarter, it can see better, can hear better. It's more skittish, it's scared of everything. And so for me, the best way to go into that fight with that turkey is with a turkey call and then whatever woodsmanship skills I've acquired over the last 16 or 17 years, right? That's it. Anything else for me is slanting that playing field more towards me. And that's what I don't like. I don't like that. Once again, I can, you know, like we talked about before, I can acknowledge my bias that I don't like that type of hunting. I'm not as, like I said, I'm not as hardline as some other people. I think that you can still do that type of hunting, you know, fanning and reaping. I think you can do it somewhat respectfully. I think there's a tremendous safety risk involved with that type of hunting. There was a 21-year-old kid that was killed in West Virginia a few years ago. It's like a 75-year-old man was trespassing on private property that this kid was reaping, shot him with a 273 rifle, poaching turkeys. Yeah, 21 years old. 20. So that's an inherent risk. Like if you're on public land and you're reaping, you like really need to reevaluate like your safety protocols in life, man. Just in general, right? I mean, because people are dumb, man. You know, and people have been getting killed turkey hunting without decoys or fans or reaping stuff for they've been getting shot at or shot. You know, it does happen. It's rare, but it does happen. So biologically, you know, the jury's still out. From my understanding, talking to biologists, that they're still trying to get a hold of like what the biological impact is with fanning and reaping. It's not foolproof, right? It doesn't work every time. It's not like you take a fan out, you wave it around and you're killing a turkey 10 out of 10 times. That doesn't happen. But that's it, man. That's I guess that's my take on it. So some people are real hardline about it. And
it kind of sounds like a hot topic, like the debate and banter back and forth between crossbow hunters and bow hunters.
Yeah, very much so, because people think that crossbow hunting is cheapening the process, right? They think that it's making it easier. Yeah. And you know, is it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've never shot a deer with a crossbow. I've shot them with compound bows and shotguns and rifles, but you know, I don't know, man. It is. Brett's like freaking out of it. It's but once again, you know, we're like with that, like it divides the community, right? And it pits hunters against hunters, and then we fuel it with the idea that like we can just say whatever we want on social media, you know, or we can say whatever we want on a podcast, because I'm never going to meet, you know, this schmuck in Michigan that's fanning turkeys with a crossbow, right? So you know, and I don't know, man. I think that I don't like the fighting. I don't like the infighting. I do like the passion on both sides, because that means that people care, right? And I think that's important. But I think it's one of those that I think that once the science comes out, and there definitely is, you know, there is research, you know, going on, you know, looking at the effects of reaping and fanning and decoy use on wild turkey population. So I think once that science comes out and like we have the data, I think it's going to be a lot of people are going to have to do some soul searching on what they value. So is it getting good clips, you know, for your Snapchat and your Instagram behind a turkey fan, or is it protecting a resource, long term? So
that makes sense. And then speaking of protecting the resources, could you tell us a little bit about your day job, about the National Wild Turkey Federation?
Yeah. So I'm the director of development for the Central East. So I work with major donors to the National Wild Turkey Federation. So it's my job to facilitate philanthropic giving to the organization. It's my job to understand at a high level the work that we do as an organization through our state agency partners, through conservation projects that we fund, through outreach projects that we fund, to kind of be a conduit between the work that's getting done, the donors, the members, the volunteers of this organization, and how to marry the two to keep moving the mission forward. So I cover 9 states is my territory. I go up into 10 or 12, 13 states total as needed. So I love it. I get to talk about wild turkey hunting, wild turkey conservation work every day in my life, and very, very grateful and fortunate to have that job.
What type of education would one have to get a job like that?
So my background is in turfgrass science. I was golf course superintendent for 15 years. I had absolutely no background in wildlife. I was just a passionate turkey hunter. When I applied for the job, I put my resume in and I wrote a really impassioned cover letter about what turkey hunting meant to me and what the NWTF meant to me. It generated an interview down in Atlanta, Georgia, and then I was offered the job just a few short weeks after that. I think the biggest thing for doing what I do is just being able to communicate with people, build authentic relationships, understand complex biological topics like turkey research, and kind of breaking those down so that other people can understand them. So, and I don't always get it, but I ask a lot of questions because I'm not afraid to look dumb. So that's it. Being able to talk, man, that's the number. I think it's probably the number one. Talk and quite honestly, listening is probably more important than talking. So, no education required. Just gotta have those skill sets.
I did have a quick question, if I can ask my question now. Can you kind of like run through like month to month through the year of what a turkey is, like baby all the way up to like what a female is and to what an adult male is?
Yeah.
Just so like if everyone has curious, like, oh, what's the circle of life for a turkey from birth to death, basically?
Yeah, sure.
I'm pretty green too.
Okay. So your adult male gobblers or your adult male turkeys are called a gobbler, a strutter, a tom. That's the names that go along with them. An immature male turkey, which is from birth, and a baby turkey is called a poult, Poult. And then that first year, first full year, they're referred to as a jake. So going into their second year of life, so turkeys that were born in the summer of 2023, they are jakes this year, and then next year they'll be 2 years old. They'll be toms. So that's kind of the life cycle of, or the naming nomenclature for male birds. Hens are they're just called hens. I mean, I've heard people refer to like immature hens as jennies, which I think is kind of cool. I always thought if we're going to call them, toms and jennies and jakes, we got to call the big hens Helens, right? Helen hen, like that just rhymes. Yeah. So maybe we can start that here. Helen hen. That's not official, Dan. So that's trademarked. Yeah, Helen hen is trademarked by Paul Campbell. So the turkeys have like a really neat process. It's called the lekking process, Lekking. Now, once again, I'm going to say this again. I am not a biologist, right? So I ask questions, I listen, I regurgitate information that I hear. And if I fuck it up, which I'm probably going to, don't bitch in the comment section. All right. So lekking, Lekking is kind of the way that turkeys establish the breeding hierarchy for the year. And so that process, like in the north, in the south, really, like it starts now. And so those turkeys, they're fighting, they're displaying, they're establishing like that breeding order. And so there's some really neat research that's out there that talks about like, so you might have like, just say, I'm going to use round number. You might have 5 turkeys and five adult turkeys in like a flock, right? But only one or two of them are actually breeding, actively breeding. And so if those turkeys get taken out by a car or a hunter, then they have to like kind of do like a mini lek in the season and reestablish that breeding order. So there's a lot of research that's going on trying to like understand that better. And that's where some of the decoying strategies come in. Like, are you pulling the dominant bird out of the flock? So you're killing. And once again, this is all stuff that I'm still trying to learn, that science is still trying to learn. So the order is established. Immature turkeys, Jake turkeys, do not breed. I got into big trouble on a podcast where I said on the podcast, I said, there's like 0% chance. I got just absolutely crucified in the comments on TikTok and Instagram. Crucified,
How
right?
dare they?
And then so I did, with my job, I got to do an interview with Michael Chamberlain, who's a wild turkey doc, who is the foremost authority on wild turkey research in this country. And I asked him, do Jakes breed? He's like, no. Like 1%. He's like, not a chance. He's like, doesn't happen. And his statement was just because they're copulating doesn't mean that they're breeding. I'm like, Mike, just say dry humping, just because they're just dry humping. But so anyway, Jakes don't breed. That is science. So getting back on track here, that lekking process, and then turkeys will start the breeding process. And that's when we hunt them, right? We hunt them so like if you imagine like a bell curve for the rut, right? Everyone talks about the peak of the bell curve. So the season dates are established on the downward slope of that bell curve. So once a majority of the breeding has been done in any particular state, that's when the seasons start, because we want to have a majority of those hens bred. And so once that bell curve starts to go down, then we get in and start doing our thing. So turkeys, hens, they will start nest initiation, and there's some really neat research on this. So like in the southern states, they say that like nest initiation is between like April 9th and April 15th. Like every year, like clockwork, man, these hens start making nests. In the northern states, it's towards like the end of April, the first half of May. So nests are made, the hens are bred. Hens can breed multiple males, which this is wild. They can keep like semen from multiple male turkeys inside and determine like when to fertilize these eggs. Like, dude, these things are crazy, man. Like how they operate. I know. Shake your head. I'm like, I don't get it. It's wild.
Can you say that one more time to make sure I'm comprehending that correctly?
So, and Dr. Chamberlain and Dr. Collier, all these wild turkey docs, they've done like extensive podcasts about this very topic. Like hens can breed with multiple males, store the semen, and then like self fertilize their own eggs like at the time that they want. From like somehow they can like choose like how all of this works and who they breed with. It's freaking wild, man. Like it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. So 28 days, that's the incubation of a wild turkey hen. 28 days, poultry bred. And so when we talk about turkey decline, this is like the really like integral time, right? It's so nesting, 28 days nest incubation, and then brooding is once they are little tiny baby turkeys. I mean, they're tiny, right? And that's brooding is when they're like 2 weeks old. And so what we've seen is wild turkey managers and biologists and agency folks have seen that the nesting habitat in this country has degraded in many areas to where we've made it easier for nest raiders. We've made it easier for like raccoons and snakes and crows and all these things to get in and destroy nests. And Dr. Chamberlain has talked about, and I don't want to butcher his stat, but something like 70% of all nests fail across the country.
Really?
Which is insane.
So
yeah, like a huge majority. And then so the sorry, lost my train of thought here.
Pissing me off, so it's all Jason's fault.
So we've got the 20 days, we've got the nest raiders. So there's a lot of things that are trying to attack the wild turkey during during those 28 days. So after that, like once they're raised, they cannot regulate their body temperature for the first 2 weeks of their life. So like once again, when we talk about like things that are harming the turkey population, if you get a cold, wet spring and you get a turkey that's 5 inches tall that can't regulate its body heat and it's 38 and raining, that turkey's going to die. right? And so that's, we've seen some of those when we've seen really like poor, like poult production and nest success is a lot of that's attributed to like those cold, wet springs. So, I get through that, like, have you ever been out like you go from like a hardwood forest, right? And then there's like an old pasture that's like all grown up and it's like super thick. And you've seen that. So turkeys are edge creatures, right? They like that space in between. They like a little bit of brush, not a ton of brush. They don't like wide open. And so I had one of our biologists tell me, he's like, just lay down on the ground, and just lay your head flat on the ground and look at like the field or look at the edge or look at what, the woods that the poults are running through. If you can't see through it, they can't get through it. Right. And so, when you've got like a turkey that's, once again, it's small, it's cold, it's trying to do all these things. It can't fly. It can't regulate its body temperature. It's trying to work through these real thick areas that might not have been maintained over the years. Like there's just a lot of things going that like are working against the wild turkey populations in this country. It's just like 1,000 things going after these little turkeys. So it's man, I don't know. I saw some research from the University of Georgia that said that if a poult has to go more than 800 yards away from its nesting location, it is a 100% mortality rate, which is insane. 800 yards is not that long,
No,
it's not far at all. So, they're bug eaters. That's what they eat when they're little. And if the food supply isn't sufficient, it just makes it even tougher on the turkeys. So that's kind of like the early life cycle of a turkey. It was kind of long winded. Hopefully that people are still watching.
No, I learned a lot. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
What, and I know in Michigan there's 2 seasons, one in spring and one in the fall. Is that common in other places? I've never turkey hunted, so I have no idea anything about. But why is there 2 different seasons for turkey?
So turkey hunting in this country originated in the fall. It was strictly a fall sport. And so think of like duck hunting. Like it would be unconscionable to hunt a duck during the breeding season in the spring. Like we just wouldn't do it. Right. If we only hunted deer during the first 2 weeks of November, that was it. And it was game on. It was rifles, shotguns, crossbows, whatever you wanted. Like that would be crazy, right? I mean, so you think about like turkeys, like in the spring, are the primary, like most of the hunting happens during their breeding cycle, which is wild. So yeah, fall turkey hunting was the origin of wild turkey hunting in this country. It's definitely a dying breed. I don't know off the top of my head how many states have like a fall turkey season. I know Ohio does, Michigan does, Indiana, Pennsylvania. A lot of them do. Some states will have, maybe 4, 5, 6 counties that have a fall season. Some states allow dogs to be used during the fall season, which is pretty cool. Hunting behind them. But it is a totally different type of hunt. In the springtime, we're like exploiting the weakness of breeding, right? Like they're not thinking
Welcome to the
clear.
Whitetail Advantage Podcast with your host, Brett Bovin. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show.
Brett,
I didn't touch shit.
what'd you do?
No,
Still going.
There you go.
It just
Sorry
starts all
about
over.
that, Paul.
I'm
No,
sorry.
you're
I have no idea.
No, you're good.
welcome to
Dude,
the podcast, guys.
you're right.
Thanks for joining us.
On today's episode.
I didn't touch anything.
That's pretty funny. What the hell was I talking about? Fall turkey hunting, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know. Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
in the spring, like we're exploiting the weakness of breeding. They're not thinking clear. They're fired up. They're cranked up. Turkeys during the fall, they're at survival mode, man. Like that's it. Like they're at their peak skittishness. They're at their peak. Like I'm not answering to calls. Like you got to hunt them hard, and you got to hunt them different than what you do in the spring. So it is a dying art form. It's one of those that is under attack. That practice of fall turkey hunting is for sure under attack. Because there have been some population challenges. Because hens are, like in most states, some states it's gobblers only, but a lot of the states it is one turkey, either sex. So
What? Do you guys have any questions? Because I have a question I want to ask.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay, I appreciate. What would you say? So for me, I've never turkey hunted, but I've always wanted to hunt a turkey with my bow.
Mhm.
I mean, I have a bow in storage, but I'm going to be, long story short, I'm using the bow to turkey hunt.
Yeah.
What would you say to anyone that wants a turkey hunt with a bow?
I think if anyone is just getting into the pursuit of turkey hunting, you need to be ready to fail. You need to be ready to fail miserably. That's with a gun. If you are hunting with a bow and you're hunting from the ground during the spring, you're really gonna have to be disciplined more so than with a gun. Like the margin of it, like you're just moving so much more. Your woodsmanship skills are gonna have to be like really, really, really good. Your timings have to be good. It's definitely I've never done it. It's just not my thing. I like hunting them with a shotgun. But I mean, yeah, you're really gonna have to like pick a good area and be good with a mouth call because you're gonna have your hands full.
Right.
So
yeah. I have
Sounds like a big challenge though.
It does. It's definitely a big challenge. There's a guy here that lives in Ohio, Clint Casper. He does a lot with the working class bow hunter. He loves to spring turkey hunt, like out west, Nebraska, Montana, Wyoming. And you watch some of the videos that he hunts, like you have to be like an exceptional hunter and turkey hunter and woodsman to be a good archery turkey hunter. For sure. I got a lot of respect for the people that can do that. So
yeah, it's been my goal. If I told myself, if I'm ever going to get into turkey hunting, I'm going to do it with a bow. That's just
And you could sit in a ground blind and hunt over a decoy and have plenty of luck. But if you're just on the ground, man, moving through and hiding in the woods, like you're going to have to be like ultra disciplined to make that happen. So.
Can you hunt them from an elevated platform in Ohio?
I don't know the answer to that in the spring. I know in the fall you can. I feel like I feel like I've heard that you can't do that, but I don't know about the springtime.
Right.
So that's been we look at like the turkey harvest in the fall. It's like 50 or 60% of the harvest is with archery equipment. So you just assume that like people are popping them as they walk by out of the deer stand. So
right.
So with you, Paul, being balls deep, if you will, into the turkey game.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel that any of the skills that you've learned during your turkey pursuit has helped you and made you a better whitetail hunter?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I think the one thing that turkey hunting has taught me has been just an abundance of patience to not rush. When I first started like deer hunting, even turkey hunting, you feel like when you see a buck or you see a turkey, like, oh my God, I see him. They're going to be out of my life right now. And sometimes that is the case, right? Like they might be, moving quick or, and you, when you're new, you rush shots. Turkey hunting, there are times that I will see a turkey for an hour before he gets in to shot range. And you just got to sit there. You got to control your emotions. You've got to control, the excitement to start hammering on a call or you control your body to not move. So that skill set of being like a better woodsman and managing emotions and just letting the moment play out has definitely translated into the archery hunting for me, for sure. So
there you go. That's all you need to hear, Brett.
Yeah, no kidding.
Done.
Start chasing them turkeys, man. It'll make you a more well-polished hunter in general.
Well, my buddy texted me, Braxton, the kid we had on the other night, because we were talking about we were talking about turkey hunting last night with two guys from Connecticut, and my buddy Braxton texted me after the show, and he's like, "Oh, you never been turkey hunting?" And I was like, "No, I've never been, but I've always wanted to." He's like, "Oh man, we gotta get you out there turkey hunting, man. My grandpa, he's a really good turkey hunter. Apparently, I never knew that. I always just thought he was a whitetail hunter. Come to find out, he's just fucking huge into turkey hunting.
Nice. There you
So
go.
they're gonna be. So I got my my foot in the door on that part. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Yep. So you're gonna have to give up the golf, and hop on there.
I can't give up golf, man. I still need it. It's only 3 days a week. Okay, I golf. Okay,
I'm just fooling with you, man.
Yeah, you better be fucking with me. No, well, yeah,
I do have pretty mad. I'm pretty good on the golf course, so just so you know,
pretty good at finding the sand. I bet you spend more time in the sand than David Hasselhoff has.
Everybody knows that joke. Everybody knows that joke.
Never, but it never gets old.
No. Fucking Happy Gilmore, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No,
yeah, Happy Gilmore's caddy on the show tonight.
Yeah, right there, buddy, right below me.
That's funny.
Welcome back. Yeah.
No, I've always told myself, like, the last 5 years I've been thinking about doing it and just never pulled the trigger of turkey hunting. But when I first told myself if I'm going to do it, I just love the challenge of archery hunting. So it's like, you know what, I'm going to do the same thing when it comes to hunting one with a turkey and just do the same thing with a bow. And I've heard it's going to be extremely challenging, but I think that's another draw point to why I want to do it with a bow. But I just love shooting my bow. I just love killing things with my bow, and to do it with a turkey, I think that's just
you're aiming at a much smaller target.
Yeah. And now if I was to shoot with my bow, I've seen people shoot them through the body of the turkey, and then some hit them at the head. What would be your preferred target to hit with a bow?
So there's I forget the group that did it, but they did I'm gonna YouTube it real quick, but they had like a where to shoot a turkey with a bow, and it's on the shiny spot on the wing is what they said, and that's where the most vitals are, and it is a really good video or to shoot. Hold on, give me a second, because I want your listeners to watch this video, and I want you to watch this video.
Oh heck yeah! Meantime,
all right.
Oh, that's a good question, because I was.
So it's shot placement on turkeys with a bow. It's by Raised Hunting. That's the
Raised Hunting. Okay.
Yeah, raised Hunting. I'm almost positive that was the video. Someone told me about it, and I watched it, and they have just a really good explanation of where to shoot it. I talked to a guy who is a really, really accomplished bow hunter, and this guy's in his like 80s now. And when I say, like, he has killed every game animal in the entire world, literally in the entire world, with a bow. Every single one across all continents. I mean, this is one of the most accomplished bow hunters on the face of the planet. I had a conversation with him, and he said that the one animal that he wounded the most with archery tackle was a wild turkey. What do you think what do you think the next words out of my mouth were, Brett? Why'd you keep hunting him with a bow? And I just like stared at this old man. I'm like, why'd you keep doing it then? Like, why did you keep shooting him with a bow? You fucking savage! Like, so
I needed that one.
Yeah,
that was
like
the last animal.
Yeah, so just no one likes that. No one likes wounding an animal, but we all do it. It sucks. This is part of the game, right? It's part of what we do. So, I think the more you can be educated on where to shoot them, the better. Yeah. But the head, I mean, if you can shoot, like, that's, we talked about that last time. It is a very ethical death. That is a hard shot, though. So I don't know. That's outside of my realm, man.
Yeah.
I prefer to shoot him with a shotgun, and I'll never change. So
now, I've seen Magnus, they came up with like their own special broadhead. It's like a winged, like 3-bladed wing type broadhead, specifically designed just for hunting turkeys, and it's to aim straight for their head.
Yeah.
Have you heard any reviews or anything about that?
Oh yeah, if you watch the videos, I mean, people shoot them, and this is another one of those points, like we talked about with fanning and reaping, that I will acknowledge my bias, and I don't like that method of killing a turkey. And it's not that it's unethical or it's inhumane, because you take something's head off, it's dead. Like, it doesn't even know that it's dead. I mean, it's just game over. It is very ethical, very efficient manner of killing. What I don't like is that people will do that, and then you'll see them like picking the head up, and they're freaking out, and they're just like, they're just making a joke of it, right? And so it's everything after the shot that just frankly just pisses me off.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff like I get really mad about is when I see people just doing stupid shit with a turkey, like, you know, making it smoke cigarettes and laugh. I don't like that stuff. So it's not necessarily the act of doing it. It's the, you know, oh my God, let's slow it down. And you see this turkey's head flying through the air. Like it's unnecessary. Right. So that's just created that like crotchety old man in me where I'm like, I don't like bow hunting turkeys, you know, and I'll admit it. It's my bias, man. And I'll never change. So, but people are still going to do it, not just because some schmuck from Ohio doesn't like it, doesn't mean people are going to stop doing it. So,
No, I agree with that point because I think it was 2 years ago. They had this trend going around where people were taking selfies with their buck or their doe on the ground, and they were taking selfies right next to it, like this type of thing, laying next to it.
yeah,
I just shook my head. And I was like, really? That's so fucking inconsiderate.
yeah,
Everyone has their opinion on that, but me personally, when you're doing like some type of funny type photo like that, to me, I don't like that personally. I don't like that.
Well,
yeah. It's a good girl would say, have a little couth.
Exactly.
Well, one thing that I've noticed since I've gotten into hunting is that it just makes me appreciate the outdoors that much more.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because I'm trying to kill an animal, but I just do, you know, respect the animals a hell of a lot more and just everything, you know, like when I was younger and, you know, I had a piece of trash in my car, you know, and I wanted to get it out. I wouldn't even hesitate. I would throw it out the window. And then, you know, over these last few years being passionate about the outdoors, I don't do that shit anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh man, like if I want to hunt and fish here forever, then I need to take care of, you know, where I live.
I mean, I think to piggyback off your point, you know, you kind of highlighted the conundrum that we have when we talk to non-hunters. You know, when I tell them what I do for a living, they're like, well, you want to save turkeys so that you can kill them? Yes, that's the answer. The answer is yes. And so when we look at like any wildlife conservation success story, right? So whitetail deer in some levels, right? The wild turkey is arguably the greatest conservation success story in this country. The buffalo, ducks, all of this work, like all of that is done by sportsmen. All of that effort and all of that work and that money raised for centuries is from sportsmen. All the wildlife law enforcement agencies started out as volunteer policing, like police agencies or whatever, but for sportsmen. It was like self-policing, and then it became like official roles. But it was hunters that have led that charge for sound wildlife practice and wildlife conservation across this country. So there's nothing to be ashamed of. Like it's a weird juxtaposition for people, but it is like the North American model of wildlife conservation is fully like it moves. The animal moves because of hunters and outdoorsmen in this country. So that's a pretty neat thing to be proud of.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm not too proud to admit it that, you know, I want to do whatever I can to keep these animals alive so I can hunt them.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're still doing it the ethical way. We're eating the meat. We're not letting them die because they have no food to eat and they can't survive in the harsh winter. Like, yeah, I have no problem, no shame at all admitting that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a beautiful thing, man. But it is funny when I talk to people that they have a hard time like wrapping their mind around like why we put so much effort into, you know, saving the wild turkeys just to keep them. So Paul is the man. Oh, Lone Buck Hunter Chronicles. Thanks, man.
There we go.
Oh, you got it.
Oh, I had an itch there. I'm sorry about that. Oh.
Well, heck yeah, man. Was there any topics that you wanted to cover with us tonight that we haven't brought up?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we went lightning speed right out of the gate, man. Let's get into the most controversial stuff right out the rip. So I'm prepared for that conversation. I've had a lot, and no, man, I think that you know, for the people that are listening, one thing that we won't touch on or we haven't touched on is like, you talked about like, you know, my work with the NWTF, and one thing that I can't stress enough. It's $35 a year to be a member of that organization. And you sign up, new member, you get $25 Bass Pro gift card. Thank you, Johnny Morris. He's a big supporter of conservation across this country. You get 6 articles of the best turkey hunting magazine that I've seen, Turkey Call. But the biggest impact is like Paul, we're going to film some birds this spring. I live right. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. I like shooting turkeys on video. I haven't done much of it. I've done like cell phone where I just like sit against the tree. I'm like the worst content creator at like capturing content. I'm just the absolute worst. I'm miserable.
You just need a cameraman.
Yeah. That's it,
you
man.
can just focus on the hunt.
Yeah.
Let them
So
I
need to do something. I went years without even like taking pictures. I'm like, picture like of my shotgun and the dead turkey. And that was it. And I just like move on. So yeah, it's fun. But so I was talking about like, $35 annual members, when we is an organization, like if there's 200 people behind you going to battle, or there's 500,000 behind you going to battle, what's more impactful? And there's 500,000, like that's obviously more impactful. Like, you win with numbers, and it's less than 10% of turkey hunters in this country are members of the National Wild Turkey Federation, which is like a staggering number when you think about that. And so there's so many of us that, that hunt, whether it be deer or pheasant or ducks or quail or turkeys, whatever it may be. The days of just buying a license and letting that be the conservation part of our lives, like those days are gone. Like the stress, the number of people that are coming in, the habitat loss, the work that needs done, it is funded by sportsmen. And, it's an important thing, to think about. So even if it's just National Deer Association, any of them, Rocky Mountain Elk, I mean, there's tons of conservation organizations that are doing some really good work. And it just happens that, I work for the one that focuses on my favorite critter, man, the wild turkey. So
no, man, I'm envious of that, man, for you to be all about the turkeys and for you to get a job like that, I mean, that's a dream job.
It really is. It's a ton of work. I take it very personal. I put a lot of effort into it. But it's obviously, it's easy for me to talk about wild turkeys. It's easy for me to talk about conservation work. And I'm very fortunate to be able to do that. I'm very, very grateful for the membership that we do have. So
yeah, man, that is, there you go.
Yeah. I just want to film. Let's make it happen.
I
have all the camera equipment. Like half the time I'm just like batteries are dead. And so
I did. So you're in Ohio, but you went to an interview down in Atlanta for this position that you're in?
Yeah, because we're based in Edgefield, South Carolina is our home base. So, I mean, a majority of the workforce of the NWTF is virtual. We're all remote. So we have a few folks down in Edgefield, down in South Carolina, but my boss was from South Carolina, and it's a short drive from Atlanta, so that it kind of made sense to meet there in person. So I flew down there, met at a Longhorn Steakhouse. What's that?
Did you just look up on their website?
Yeah, I was looking for a hat, actually, is how it happened. And I saw they had like a little red button that said now hiring. And just out of pure curiosity, I clicked on that to see what they were hiring for. And I read the description. I'm like, man, I could probably do this. I like turkey hunting. I like to talk. I'm all right at it. And yeah, that was it, man. And I talked about like I said, what turkey hunting means to me, and how personal it is, and how much the organization means to me. So I've been a member of that organization since 2007.
Is that one of their hats?
No, this is one of my hats. This is one of my turkeyseason.com hats. That's my little walking turkey logo. So.
Turkeyseason.com. Okay, I'll be going there.
Yeah, check it out, man. Click on the map if you're shameless plug. If you're planning, so it's got all 49 states. It's got season dates, harvest data, weather data, zone maps, all that stuff. So all of that stuff is on turkeyseason.com. It's pretty cool. It's a cool site. I'm trying to get better at maintaining like the content on it. I do a good job with the podcast, I think. It's been pretty neat. I've got I'm doing a 4-part series on a really influential turkey hunter from the 70s and 80s. His name is Ben Rogers Lee. from Alabama. I mean, he was arguably the most impactful turkey hunter of his day, and really kind of cemented, the legacy for a lot of guys and kind of the business world of turkey hunting. Just a fascinating guy. So I've been doing that. I've got a podcast going live tomorrow with Michael Chamberlain. Wild Turkey Doc, which is pretty cool. But yeah, check it out. It's just the turkey season podcast, if you don't mind me sharing that. So
No,
it's easy
absolutely.
to find. Yeah, it's easy to find.
How dare you plug in your own stuff on our channel?
You jerk.
Oh,
Hey, you're in debt
gosh.
to him, Brett.
I think I'm forever in a debt with him. I'm a complete
No,
dick
I think
for
you
that.
redeemed yourself.
Oh, I'm glad we made it through.
No, man, like we've
Yes.
had a couple of guests on as of late
Yeah.
that are like equally passionate about turkey hunting as you, and it's kind
Yeah.
of taken us back where we're like, man, are we missing out on something here? Like,
Yeah.
No,
and then when we remembered that we had you coming back on, I was like, okay, like I want to learn more about turkey,
Yeah.
But I did have
Yeah.
one more
Talk to it.
question. I did
Yeah.
have one more question.
Yeah,
So a male year one turkey is a
Mhm.
Jake.
Correct.
So when they become a Tom, what's the physical difference? Is that when they develop those long hairs? The
Yeah,
beard?
so they'll get a bigger beard, and beards are like it's all genetic. There's one right there, right?
Okay.
So some Toms will have longer beards just by genetics. But once they are adults or mature, they will get. I mean, look at the size difference in that. Like I don't know if you can tell, like just how much thicker this one
Mhm.
is here.
Huh.
That's a paintbrush right there, is what that is. That's a big turkey.
And a Jake would not have
And
any.
so a Jake, I don't know, I have like I've killed one Jake in my life, and they'll have like a little short, little stubby beard. They'll have nubby little spurs on their feet. So biologists will tell you that like there's barring on wings, and I forget how many bars they have to have before they're considered like a mature turkey. But that's the way that they age officially age a wild turkey, because genetics play a role in the beard length. And genetics play a role in the spur length. So you could have a turkey that's 4 years old, but has short little stubby spurs. Or you could have a Jake that's a year old that has a 7-inch beard, right? And so, and that's not always the case. That's pretty rare, but for the most part, you're going to look at and they're just smaller. Like they're not as colorful. Their heads aren't as colorful. Their gobbles are they're really funny. It's like,
Okay.
when you're going through puberty,
Yeah,
like you go to talk
squeaky.
and your voice squeaks. Like they'll like they'll have this
Okay.
like real like crackly gobble. And then the one Jake that I killed, dude, he was gobbling like a full grown man. I didn't realize that he was a Jake until
Yeah.
after I walked up to him. I just saw turkey gobbling his face off, and so I shot him, and yeah, he was a Jake. But it was actually the first turkey I ever killed, and I was thrilled, dude. It didn't matter. So yeah, it's
I-
go ahead.
I did have a quick question. What would be 200-inch buck? Man, that's a fucking buck, man. What would be like equivalent to like a turkey? It's like, oh man, that's A-class turkey right there. What would be like?
That's a great question. And there's one thing that I will fight to the death, and that is bringing over the age classification and scoring of whitetail deer into the turkey world. It's something that I think aging deer, like scoring deer, has cheapened the process of deer hunting to the point that it's like destroying the sport. And I think that the moment that we bring that type of and I'm not attacking you, but the moment that we bring like that mentality of like scoring turkeys into it is the downfall of turkey hunting. Like it just for me, if I had a turkey that did all the things right, he's gobbling, he's coming back and forth, he's making me work for it, and he comes out and he's got a 7-inch beard, but he's a mature turkey, right? I'm going to shoot him. I'm going to shoot him 10 out of 10 times. Yeah. I don't even give a shit about the beard length. I've killed a pile of turkeys. I've never measured a beard, never taken spur length. I don't care. Right. I like the hunt. I like so what's the trophy? The turkey that wants to die. That's the trophy, right? The turkey that is in the woods, that has reckless abandon and just makes you work for it. And that's the trophy. You're right. None of that other stuff matters, and it shouldn't. And it shouldn't. And so that's, when you go out and turkey hunt for the first time, enjoy the process, enjoy the failure, learn from it, gain experience. And then when you do kill it, man, do just revel in it.
I'm going to go grab something, Paul.
Yeah.
To show you.
Yeah.
Keep talking. I'm going to grab something and show you something real quick.
So pretty much,
yeah.
every turkey is a 200.
Yeah, every turkey's a good turkey, man. The one that's willing to die is a good turkey, and you know, there are people that want like, you can score a turkey, right? Like there's I don't even know, like they score they measure the beards and the spurs and like the leg. I don't, there's like an official score for a wild turkey. I have no idea what it is. I don't know how to do it. So yeah, that's it, man. I don't want Brett, I don't want you to feel like I was attacking you, but that's I think it's something that is if you look big picture at whitetail hunting, you know, why the scoring system was instituted, you know, to track the harvest of mature deer. I think we've you know, we've created a lot of fighting. You know, and
the thing that I don't like is how there's like 10 different panels, and then you know, like they all have different rules and shit. I think if we do score them, it should be one universal. Like everybody's gets scored the same.
Yeah, like good deer or not a good deer. So
yeah.
Meat in the freezer, no meat in the freezer.
That's right, man. Yeah, that's absolutely right. So yeah. Jason, what do you got, man? Let me see this thing.
So I made a mount for my fan and legs and everything, and I can take it apart and reassemble it and move it wherever I want.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Slab of oak and everything that's on there, so I can take it apart if I'm moving or anything. But there's one of the legs.
See, those are some hooks right there. You see that thing?
Wow.
Yeah.
And then that's my beard.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's almost like, you see how that split? It almost looks like it could be like a double beard. Isn't that cool?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat. Yeah, because like that, I mean, that could be a double beard. That's pretty cool. I think the most I've ever heard of someone shooting was like 8 beards or something like that, which is just insane. They just like kind of fall out.
Wow.
But yeah.
Is that common in the turkey world, of having like multiple beards coming out like that?
It's pretty common. I mean, I've never killed one, and some of them could be so small that like you just don't even see it, right? Like you're just they might not even be poking through. So Serbian turkeys.
Serbian turkeys are the ones with all the extra hair.
There you go.
Got them bushes.
Little ethnic humor for your evening.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, was there anything last that we didn't cover that you wanted to cover before we go for the night?
No, I don't think so, man. I mean, we could talk turkey hunting for 10 hours straight, man. And you can't do it all at once. Plus, you got to have something to talk about the next person you have on with turkeys. So
no, that's what I was glad is we were running out of whitetail questions. So man, turkey is perfect, and it's that time of year. So
and you guys do a show every night, right?
We try 4 days a week.
Monday through Thursday.
That's impressive. That's a lot of work.
Well, the editing was becoming a lot of work for Brett because he was the one doing it all.
Okay.
And he was like, "What do you think about doing live, man?" And just kind of improvising it and just having more fun and not doing all this fucking editing. So
yeah, there you go.
It seems more relaxed. I was just like, you know what, let's do live, and it's kind of more just right off the dome type questions and go with it that way. Because I thought about the idea as like pre-recording. It's like, you know what, I get tired of listening to other people's podcast show where it's like, I mean, that's what you do, go ahead. But it's like it's scripted type of deal. I mean, or it's not scripted and they do editing after editing and it's just like a flow thing. It's like, you know what? I want to see what it's like full thing. I mean, that's just what we do here on our show. I mean,
I've never written questions out for a podcast. I just, I might have like in the back of my mind like a topic that I want to talk about, but see where it leads us. So
I feel like it makes it more fun that way.
It does. Yeah, it does.
I do a plan. It don't feel like a hobby anymore.
I will say I just did the Southern U podcast when I was in Nashville, and they have like they always start their show with like 5 questions, and it was pretty cool. I did like that. definitely it's almost like an icebreaker. And so yeah, as long as you're good at what you do, man, I guess it doesn't matter, right?
Oh,
As long
yeah.
as it's entertaining. So
Or we can just fake it till we make it.
that's right. Yep. Yep. Just play.
Jason, was there anything that you wanted before we go with Paul? Questions?
No, I'm just glad we got a full hour
Yeah.
with him this time.
Fuck off, Jason. Time out. Asshole.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Dan, how about you?
No, man, just thank you for your time. Felt like we learned a lot. Definitely me, I'm never done turkey hunting ever, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man. All these other, outdoor sports that I'm getting into, as soon as I do get into them, I'm like, man, I've been missing out. So
Yeah.
I feel like it might be a good time to get into that too.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. Just go in with a good attitude. Know that you are going to fail miserably, and just learn from those failures and just enjoy the process. So, because it is fun and it is a challenge. It's not supposed to be easy. Sometimes it is. Sometimes dumb luck strikes, but for the most part, man, you got to enjoy it. Enjoy the process.
Well, Paul, thanks for coming on, and thanks again for spending some time with us for
my
a good
pleasure.
hour.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
For sure, man.
Well, if you ever want to come back on the show, you got my number. If you just want to come on and talk 15, 20 minutes, whatever. Door's always open.
Absolutely. Appreciate that, guys.
Alrighty, man.
All right. Have a good night,
All right.
Paul.
Have a
you
good
guys.
hunting
Hey,
season.
have a good night.
Yeah,
man.
likewise. See you guys.
Thank you.
See ya.
So nice to get him back on the show.
Hell yeah. I like all that.
You're cool, dude.
He was very knowledgeable about fucking turkey, man. He
that's
does
his
it.
job, man.
It's
Yeah.
a job.
No,
But
that's my favorite part about him is that he was able to lock up a fucking dream job, and he's not.
Right.
And it's cool. It's cool to see him doing a job for a hobby that he likes, but then not get burned
Exactly.
out with it.
Yeah.
Like you see some of these guys that are like, oh, I'm big into trout fishing. I'm going to open a charter. And then it's like, motherfucker, I got to go back out there again and do this shit because people are paying me to go out there. And then they never do it on their own, like outside of work.
Right.
Because now it's a job. But he still does both.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool to me to see someone who has the passion for it, who doesn't get burnt out
Yeah.
doing it still.
Very impressive.
Extremely passionate about it all. And it was basically at that point, I was almost wanting to take out my fucking pen and paper and just like write down every fucking little word that he was saying. But I was like, you know what, recorded, so I can just go rewatch it and take notes again.
That's what you'll have to do.
But he just had so much wealth of knowledge about turkeys. I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface with what he knows about turkey.
Yeah, well, we've got to do a little homework and get a little street cred before we have him back on.
Heck yeah. I mean, I'm definitely going to be trying to get out turkey hunting. That's
we
for sure.
can jump past the entry level questions and actually act like we know what we're talking about. But
Harvard level questions,
no,
Western Michigan University questions.
It won't be those biology type questions, but just more.
And I don't know what the fuck, because I keep my keyboard here, right, on my little lap. So when comments come up and whatnot, I must have hit something. I have no idea how the fuck that fucking intro came up.
You're just over there hitting shit, playing music. It doesn't ever work.
You're too worried about Jason down there, and you done hit a button.
Well, Jason just hurt my feelings because I'm doing my best over here, man, and you're just making me so
try harder.
So sad.
Well, yeah, man.
Well, I think. What were you saying, something, Dan, or Jason?
No,
saying
I was
something?
just saying. Well, hell yeah, man, that was a good night. Looks like
heck yeah,
we can close it on out. Get ready for tomorrow, which we are traveling back to Connecticut.
No, we got a guest from Vermont.
Even better. Is it?
At the end of the show, somebody sent us a message saying, "Hey, have you ever had a guest from Vermont?" I said, we're scheduling Vermont more towards the end of the year, but if you want to come on tomorrow, you can do it. And he said, yeah, I'll come on the show. So we're traveling up to Vermont tomorrow.
I think I might be doing that in more ways than one because I'm all out of ice cream. So I gotta
get
some Ben and Jerry's, bro.
In Vermont?
Say that again.
Have you seen the fall pictures in Vermont?
No.
No.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful up there.
Like some good nature porn.
Yeah, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. Nothing beats Tennessee in the fall. So it's very hard. Tennessee is like right up here. And then Vermont, just looking at the photos, is like right here.
You should move to Tennessee, man.
I want to.
You seem to be all
but you
in
guys
on
would
Tennessee. No, man. We're virtual, man. We don't need you. Get out of here.
Wow, fuck you guys. Let's just end
It's
the show now.
It's not like we do it all in the same
Sorry,
room.
I hit the button.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.